okay? Because what happens, the hook, is each of you, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, will receive a note from a servant, from a messenger, from a courier that has the signet of House Bouldershoulder. And when you open up I assume, open up the letter, it is a terse and not with bad handwriting note that Barnabas could use your help if you would like to visit him at Citadel Adbar. So I'm going to go top to bottom, starting with M. This even includes the characters that aren't together originally. So how this happens is going to be up to you. Let's start with Clarion. What's Clarion doing when he gets the message that Barnabas wants to meet him?
Well, I mean, at this point, since technically Clarion is living with Hyacinth and Lore,
he's a dad.
There would be a family conversation because there would be two of those messages, I'm certain.
Yeah.
Because Hyacinth and Clarion and so we would be talking about this and trying to figure out whether who can go, what to do, that kind of thing. So yeah, Lore.
I like to think of at the end of a long and intense conversation, Hyacinth has agreed to stay so I'm gonna watch the kid and is deeply confused on how that happened.
I'd like to think it in the different direction. Hyacinth has been like, look, I'm working on getting my dad's about to surrender the title to me. I need to have actually some training here, and it's always a good idea to bond with the kid. The kid's only 3 months old.
You're about to go professional edgelord.
You go have a good date time or whatever and enjoy yourself. Don't die. Please don't die.
Honey, please, dear, love, stars in the sky, please do not die.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Lore and Hyacinth are married, but Clarion is their they're beta partner. They're dating him together. So it's
their unicorn. Sorry, it's a bad way to put it, but
as somebody who has actively been a unicorn, it's fine as long as they don't hunt you.
Point, yes.
Or drink your blood for vitality.
Maybe it's like a role play thing.
Olivia, save me. What's how is Charlotte hearing about this?
So Charlotte's family, the Corbels, is actually from a very dwarven, heavily influenced area of the Sword Coast. So I'd like to think that her family actually knows the Bouldershoulders, and the note came in the mail and got confused with all of the other responses from suitors that were supposed to go to Charlotte. And so Charlotte got the letter and took it as just her window out. Just
can't go have a letter, bye.
Hell yes, get me out of here. I don't want to answer another letter from another potential suitor. And
my
packed
planet
her
needs
bags
me.
And went.
Yes, I love it. I absolutely love it. And then of course Calder and Meepo will be arriving together.
Do both Calder and Meepo get different letters?
Yes.
Or are they lumped in one?
No, they are given separate letters.
Meepo is a whole ass person.
Yeah.
It depends. I'm like, wow, I'm like touched. That's great. Lord Bouldershoulder, the king of dwarves, is acknowledging a kobold as a person. That's fantastic.
Well, the king of one particular clan of dwarves, but yes.
That's not nothing. So I will report the letter and its contents to my father, knowing full well he's probably had it read already, and will basically say, I would like to go, and I am going. Anything you say to stop me is perfunctory. So, but politely saying that I will represent our family. Our family is being asked to help with a pharaoh, with a king from another nation. So I'll bring Meepo with me, so I'll have my bodyguard with me.
Your family's already made a bit of a name for itself by helping out Barnabas, right? Like it's definitely been, all of you are known as people who helped out the King of Citadel Adbar when necessary. Yeah.
And we know a lot of sundry details of how much we helped, so that's great.
So Citadel Adbar, Adbar, is an extraordinarily impressive looking place. As you can see, I've shared the image. You should be able to see it now.
Ooh, wow, that is very impressive.
It is a monstrous fortress. Okay, everything is, it's not like sized giantly on the inside, but on the outside, it almost looks like a giant lair. Right? Everything is just oversized and militaristic and ostentatious. You should be able to see there are crenellations up on those big towers. But what you don't see as you are walking up to the front are a whole lot of guards. And in fact, you don't see a whole lot of anyone as you are going through the first few chambers on your way in. You aren't greeted by anyone at the door until a few minutes after you begin to make your way into the Citadel. Kind of like, hello? Is anybody here? And then, yes, you are approached by the same dwarf, in fact, that you met at the end of the Sunless Citadel, who was telling Barnabas that he should not have been out there adventuring. He is a dwarf with a braided beard and slippers instead of boots. And he comes up to you in a nice, like, he sort of pads up to you and says, "Oh, you're all here at once? Amazing. However did you manage to all coordinate so that you arrived together? It must be fate. Please, come this way."
We met at a, we
There's
met
only
at-
one road here.
We went to Oak, we all, like, we got drunk.
We
I
all
got
know
drunk
each
at Oak.
other. You know that, right?
Yes.
Just
Speaking of
follow
which-
me.
Lore, so nice to meet you again. It's been
I'm so
too
glad.
long. Too long since graduation.
When Calders met Lore, he was very, like, yay, I'm actually very happy to see you, but I am conditioned to not actually show positive emotion, so yay, I am actually sincerely happy to see you. I haven't seen you since the wedding. By the way, I brought a meepo, whole bush meepo forward.
Hello, friends. It's good to see everybody again.
I
Meepo has-
practiced
Meepo-
my draconic
Meepo-
on Meepo.
Meepo has armor now. Look at Meepo's armor. Meepo's armor's amazing. Calder helped make it.
I helped order it. We talked about this.
Order, yes. Help
you had
someone
it
else
made.
make.
You had it made. You paid for it. I just taught you how.
And again,
But he's
Meepo,
very proud of it, and it looks very nice.
and Meepo's longsword Shatterspike is strapped across his back. And though you would think that, I mean, he's very small, and a longsword is a good 2.5, 3 feet long. You would think it would look silly, but it doesn't. Because he is not bipedal, it's not dragging on the ground. He is hunched forward. The sword looks now like it belongs on his back. It definitely, like, he doesn't pull it, he doesn't use it, but it definitely looks natural there, as opposed to when he first got it, when it looked like a child picking up a claymore. Hey, the advantageous challenge just finished being completed, which means each and every one of you has 1 point of inspiration, which you can use to get advantage on the next roll, but you do have to remember to goddamn use it.
I feel attacked.
There's the rub.
Like the only relationship that I don't think is solid is whatever Calder's relationship is with. Sorry, Gail, your character's name again?
Charlotte.
Yes, with Charlotte. So, Calder, who's would be hello, friend of friend at this point.
Oh yeah, probably the last time we were in the same room was like somebody's estate party some years ago.
Or
The wedding.
Oh, I wasn't at the wedding,
Oh, no.
unfortunately.
And we also have lost a Swedish geek ball.
Yep. I switched back over to the all-in-one so that I can at least see half of some of your faces. There we go. Yeah. There we go. This is when she gets back, there we go. Okay.
It is a little cramped in there.
No problem. Okay. So as you're walking through the Citadel, there are other dwarves doing their business, but imagine a large palace with just it's not necessarily that there aren't a lot of people here. It's that this is a very large space and you don't see or hear. It's very quiet here dwarven citadels are supposed to be bustling, industrious places. And you are led back into the sort of audience chamber. Anything that you say or do in the walk between the front door and the audience chamber where Barnabas is.
Cannon will be held against you.
I want to be listening for any conversations. I speak Dwarven. Do I pick anything up on the walk-in?
There are, let's see. There are a couple of like groups of dwarves that go back and forth. Give me, I don't know. What's your passive perception, each of you?
10.
11.
Yeah, it's I mean, because it's not like
12.
it's not like they're trying to be sneaky, right? So I was just making sure.
Yeah, and 12 as well.
So yeah, there are dwarves that are talking, and they're mostly talking about rock and forging and that sort of thing. But they do seem, what's the word? Downtrodden a little bit. Like they're not boisterous or anything like that. They're just kind of, they're just kind of, and it's not necessarily like
Reserved?
bad. Yeah, reserved is a good one. They're not super depressed, but they're definitely off for dwarves. No. Speaking of
What the
quaffing.
Yankees going on?
I will. Can we ask our guide what has been happening, or everything, or remark on the bad mood?
Can we get the preview?
You
pitch.
You noticed that, huh? Well, if you can't tell, our citadel, our clan has been we've been losing members lately. This is something Barnabas, the king, will tell you at some point, but I think it's important that you hear it from someone who's a little bit more eloquent than our liege. It has been some time since this clan, this citadel, has been able to produce anything of worth. We are running low on natural resources, and of the 60,000 dwarves that could live here, we are down to maybe 1,500. Dwarves have been
15. Oh my god.
Dwarves have been simply dwarves have been simply leaving to find another way of life, or another clan, or another citadel. We're not entirely sure, but we do know that if we do not get our clan's economy back online, and he just kind of trails off as you begin to approach the door to the audience chamber.
It always
That's
comes
fair.
back to economics, doesn't it?
Death and taxes.
I'd love you to. You'd be surprised exactly how many things in this world boil down to money.
Clarion asks in Dwarvish, how long have your natural resources been failing?
It's less that they have been failing and more that they are less pure than they once were. We are finding the end of our veins, and we are coming up with metals that are imperfect. We are still forging with them, but it means that we can sell less and less every year, and dwarves are leaving to go find their fortune.
So how attached are you to this specific real estate?
At that point, as you're saying that, he will go ahead and open the door into the audience chamber. And this is a much more populated spot. Yes, sitting on a very uncomfortable looking throne near the back of the room is indeed the one and only Barnabus B. Bouldershoulder, who is sitting and having a conversation with one of his attendants. There are other dwarves in the area sort of sitting at tables and talking and that sort of thing. This is kind of like a feasting hall. It's not crowded. It's not full to the rafters, but there are a few dozen dwarves in here that are talking, and everyone kind of not goes silent, but they, everyone kind of, turns their eyes and looks at you as you go forward towards Barnabas, and the attendant does not answer your question about real estate.
As we're being ushered forward rather than continuing the conversation, I'm going to telepathically tell Swoops to go get a higher view and go fly and put himself on one of the rafters.
Swoops.
Swoops is my bat familiar. He's super cute.
We have, hold on, let me get, there you are.
Yeah.
There's Swoops. Look at that. And in fact, while I'm on this, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the camera a little bit as well.
You're gonna make me have to pull my bat down, aren't you?
Amazing. I love it.
I vote that we all get a little bat so that Olivia can yeet it into somebody else's frame.
Oh yeah, I mean mine actually is basically looks like Swoops but has yellow wings instead of red.
I'll look into
Completely
it.
legitimate.
Yeah, Swoops is tiny. Swoops like wingspan is 7 inches. Tiny bat.
Yeah, the bat I have is a little bit larger than that. Not that much though.
Okay.
My hand is bigger than that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're from palm to middle finger is probably longer than Swoops's whole wingspan.
I'm
Yeah.
6 inches.
Okay. I'm looking, there we are.
Tiny baby.
Baby.
So Barnabas notices you. He turns and he gives like a half a smile, which for him is like whooping in the air. And
He's throwing emotions.
yes, and he kind of set, has his attendants back off, and he motions you to come forward. Now, none of you have really seen or heard a lot of Barnabas over the last year. He has sent letters and such, but he has been extraordinarily busy for the past year, and it's been very, very difficult.
Wedding.
Yeah, he wasn't able to make the wedding, and he's been very, very busy this entire time. So, what do you do?
As we approach, I'm going to take the back of Laura's hand just so I can be cued into when people are bowing, if we're doing that.
Bowing nothing. Clarion is gonna go up and hug.
Oh no.
Laura's going to bow because Laura actually hasn't met this person,
I
and
haven't
he's a
either.
fucking king.
Calder is going to be in the middle ground. He will respectfully approach and offer a respectful bow in accordance to his house's traditions to greeting someone of superior station.
So your reactions
Look.
completely run the gamut, which is excellent.
Clarion family hugs. So.
Yeah, Barnabas is clearly uncomfortable with the hug, but he does return it.
Phantom arm.
I'm,
Random massage too, man. My ghost arm is great.
I didn't know you picked up Mage Hand.
Massaging hand.
That's
So-
just Mage Hand with extra
I need
steps.
one of those.
so he sits back down on his chair, and he says, "I am so glad that you all are here. It's been." Would you like, and he sort of motions to his assistant who's been talking to you, and he says, what His Majesty is trying to say is, would you like any sort of refreshments before we begin, or would you like to perhaps take a moment to rest and restore yourselves? Do you need to clean yourselves?
Would His Highness like an opportunity?
The road
to
can be
drink,
dusty.
Would His Highness like an excuse to drink with us?
I was going to ask exactly how many flagons of wine is this problem?
Barnabas pulls out a flask.
I will pull out the flask that he gifted me and lift it in solidarity.
So, yes.
Yeah. Do you need a bath? I can smell the road on you. Wine, or do you want one, or do you just need us to tell you that you need one?
But yes, they can.
You love Prettyfoot smell.
They can absolutely furnish you with wine and beer and even dwarven moonshine if you're feeling like it, which is what's in the flask that Barnabas has, which can only be contained in an adamantine flask.
I already had my potions of fire breathing, so I shouldn't need the moonshine.
Yes, indeed. So I assume you all were told what's been going on for the past year?
In the loosest of manners.
Not at all.
No.
Something about resources and everybody leaving.
Yeah.
Yes, it's not a new problem. This isn't like This isn't something that just happened. This was well underway when we all went to the Citadel. It's been a couple of kings since the last time we were really producing and trading the way we did. And though we don't have any enemies currently at our doorstep, we do know that as our numbers dwindle, there are definitely those who would like to take this Citadel for themselves. But that's not your problem. You don't have to fix that. I have a job for you. And he motions again to his assistant, who says, how many of you have heard the name Durgadin?
History checks?
It's a history check. If you speak Dwarvish, you don't have disadvantage. If you don't speak Dwarvish, then you have
If you don't speak Dwarvish, you have disadvantage.
That's what I was trying to say, yes.
Oh, come on.
13. That's actually better than I was expecting. So,
Wait. 11, 13, 12. Looks like everyone has probably, like maybe you've heard the name? Except for Lore. Lore has no idea what's going on. Well, he continues with his speech. Box text. Durgadin was a master smith who forged blades of surpassing quality and power. Centuries ago, and he starts going into sort of a storytelling cadence, his home was sacked by orcs. Durgadin led the remnants of his clan to the mountains north of the town of Blasingdale and established a small, secret stronghold somewhere in the trackless wilderness there. From his hidden redoubt, he waged a decades-long vendetta against all orc kind until his enemies discovered his fortress and attacked it after a long siege. Durgadin and his followers perished, and much wealth was carried away by the conquering hordes. Everyone else in the room sort of goes quiet as the story of Durgadin is being told. But it's said that the deepest and the best hidden vaults and armories escaped the looting, and that in some way, some of Durgadin's extraordinary blades perhaps still wait in the darkness. Oh, for God's sake. Look, this is what happened, all right? Smoke started coming out of the area. If Durgadin's forge is in there somewhere and there's smoke coming out, it's possible that someone's using it again. Did you really have to do all of the theatrics?
Calder is just
we have a forge
is
too,
nakedly
you know that, right?
smiling at this exchange.
Look, what I'd like you to do. Find the forge, scout it out, secure it if you can. Because if you can, then I can bring my artisans to a forge that was created by Durgadin himself. Perhaps we can regain what we've lost over the past decades.
Well, we are but spellcasters, but we did bring a mighty warrior with us. I'll put a hand on Meepo's shoulder.
You get a full smile this time. And Barnabas looks down at Meepo, which is one of the few characters that he has to actually look down on, and goes, well, then I'm sure everything is in excellent claws.
So
I'm not even joking.
how big is this forge if you intend to move in?
Oh, do not mistake us. We know absolutely nothing. We know not what is there. We know not where it is. We know not even if it exists. We only know that there is the persistent rumor that this area housed Durgadin's forge, and that area is now seeing smoke rising out of the forest. We know nothing beyond that. All of the information, all of the mapping, in fact, if you have a cartographer among you, a map would be extraordinarily helpful.
Don't look at me.
That's not a thing I'm good at.
The Dimsdale Durgadome.
None of us here are cartographers. We are all of noble birth. We usually hire people for that.
I am a scholar, but maps aren't my forte.
I can fake it, but I can't guarantee the accuracy.
I mean, unless
Look, if you can scout it out, if you can tell us what's there, and if you can clear it out, we'd be able to send our folks in. We can't do it now because if we send too many of our warriors in to investigate, well, he motions around at the very small number of dwarves in the room, and he says,
you weaken your already vulnerable defenses. We understand.
If I could, I would go with you myself.
That, and if we go in your stead, we don't look anything like dwarves.
We also
keep suspicions low.
I cannot speak for all of my fellows, but I can say that because of our relationship, we are your servants in this matter, and we shall do as servants must, and tidy up.
The House of Corbel is eager to serve.
Thank you. Your payment, which I am going to insist you take, regardless of what you say. Well, let's start with a. What's the word I'm looking for? An advance. And he sort of snaps his finger, and showing a small flair for the dramatic himself, a servant comes out from behind the chair, out from behind the uncomfortable-looking throne, with a large box in his arms. Which he presents to you, and when you open it up, you see a half a dozen healing potions and a small +1 blade. I will let you all decide what kind of blade it is and who gets it.
And there has been 2 toss a coin to your players.
And there will be an extra 20 gold pieces in that as well. Thank you.
Your Highness, if I didn't know better, I would say that Clarion had rubbed off on you.
I'm going into the party inventory.
I'm in pain, thank you.
I didn't get a chance to rub off on him the way I prefer, but that's okay.
I don't know. Echo got quite close to it. Switching to Draconic, I'll say, I don't know. I thought Echo got quite close to him.
Are you okay?
I'm fine.
It's fine.
There's a reason I stayed with Clarion.
I am straight up saying, but I'll probably say something at the end of the conversation. This is an Echo since this is regards.
This signed photograph.
Give me anyone who gets an insight check of 15 or higher will see the slight blush. But it has to be, you got to get that 15 or higher.
Oh, so close.
Yes,
someone.
Clarion's like, The healing potions are in the party inventory as well as the 20 gold.
Everyone should take at least one. We should put the spare in the hands of the person with the greatest mobility, I think.
I can give one to my familiar who can fly.
There we go.
A bat with a potion strapped to its back.
Oh, he's really small. Maybe not.
You got your
if he's
size.
1 pound, he can carry it and then just drop it unceremoniously onto someone.
I figured out how to assign things with the party items.
Nice.
So,
all right. So I think
Olivia, Gale, and do your characters actually have weapons, or are you guys straight casters?
I've got a quarterstaff and a cane, but the cane is for sensing.
Yeah,
I have a bevy of. Calder has a bunch of knives on his person.
I'm not talking to you. You have a scimitar, or you got a scythe, or whatever that fancy thing is.
Belloc
Lore straight up looks like a person wearing she has a breastplate on, right? So she's armored, but she has no fucking weapons at all.
Does she use weapons at all?
Yes.
Okay, because I wanted to figure out what we were going to do with that sword. Because if nobody else wants it, we can turn it into a rapier and I can have a +1. But if you have no weapons and need one, then it probably should go to you.
Oh, no. Feel free.
Out of the 4 PCs here, you are the one actual combat class amongst us. You probably should take the +1 rapier.
How am I the
Are we talking to me or the bard?
The bard.
The bard.
Yeah, the bard's the combat class.
Or we can give Meepo a +1 sword.
I don't know what you're talking about. You are a wizard. Last I checked, a wizard. That's as far as I've been told.
My degree says a blade singer,
Yes. Yes, yes.
which is the most combated of all wizards.
yes.
Okay, I have dropped a +1
You went to
rapier.
college and you went to college and studied the blade, and you majored in blade.
I have
Song.
I have dropped a +1 rapier into the party inventory. So yes, Clarion, it is the most gorgeous blade you've ever seen, and it's actually very interesting to see a dwarven make of such a delicate weapon.
Yes. How do I?
How far is
How do I-
Blazing from here?
Can
How
you?
do I think it?
I think you can just drag it into your inventory from the parcel. I think if you drag the shield into your
I
inventory,
believe so.
I think.
The shield into my inventory. Okay.
Yeah, the
Yep,
little.
and now
little-
That worked.
And it just disappeared. Beautiful.
Jeez.
I'm gonna grab a second potion, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give one of them to Meepo.
Yes, please give at least one of them to Meepo. He's less likely to die with
There we
the
go.
ranks and paladin, but he was kind of a little squishy last time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Although
You don't-
you're all casters, so you're all kind of squishy.
In the meantime, Barnabas says, "You just got here. There's no sense in you taking off, and I haven't seen y'all in a year." And he looks around at the other dwarves that are in the feast hall and goes, "Will someone get me a goddamn drink?" And life sort of goes on as normal for a bit. There will be a bit of a feast in your honor, although they don't have a heck of a lot of really amazing, cuisine. It is filling, and there is a lot of it, and there is booze to match. Let's see. Does anybody end up having a hangover so bad they miss an entire adventure this time?
Why is that like
Hopefully
a
not.
constitution check that you're making me do?
Only if you drink the dwarven moonshine.
That's
Ooh.
fair.
If you drink the dwarven moonshine, then give me a constitution check.
Does my racial benefit of advantage against poison checks apply?
Yes.
Then I'll drink it.
Do it. Take the advantage, see what happens. You're like, this stuff might actually eat a hole in my stomach and out my torso. But you do manage to keep yourself to a mild hangover.
I think the only reason Clarion doesn't, as he starts to get drunk, is that Lore comes up and gives him the stink eyes, like "Don't you dare!" and would kill you.
Hyacinth would kill him.
Calder is making a point to carouse with these people and speak of the violently capable and wonderful and military abilities of his family, and
He's being
talking about his brothers.
I
am talking about my brother in a positive light. So of course that means I'm lying through my teeth. But
no, I'm just drinking and singing.
The dwarves around you, once there is enough alcohol to break the ice, the dwarves around you want to hear the story of how you fought against their king, defeated him, and then rescued him from the clutches of the enemy. And they make you say that story over and over and over and over again.
I make a point to say I did not actually. I at no point fought Barnabus Bouldershoulder. I fought a plant puppet of Belak, while that Barnabas Bouldershoulder was trapped within, and it was through our combined efforts that we cut the king free.
Amazing. Yeah, they are enraptured. Like this is an incredible story. They love it. Clarion.
Oh, Clarion would totally be singing songs like, Cold Door, Bad Decisions. And,
Stuff
like that.
We're all coming up
I need
spiders.
to actually compose like a ballad of the adventure.
And of course, I will give all appropriate glory to Echo the Goblin for being an absolute military badass. And talk about you don't understand. This is a goblin that you actually would be impressed by.
You're telling me it's actually a goblin? A goblin saved our... I thought he was making that up.
Nope, it was echo. And here's the best part: you can see this goblin. He's a performer, and he's a performer in Neverwinter. I brought a poster.
I have extra tickets.
And
reason
like I'll
Echo
talk,
couldn't
I'll,
come is
I'll,
that
I'll
it's
talk up,
stupid.
I'll talk up the Echo Goblin Troop and how amazing they are, and how Echo as a star piece is an amazing fighter.
Everyone's just like, goblins being in the circus? What?
Well, here's the trick.
I thought
You
we
see,
were
they got
having
us-
a weird time.
You see, here's the trick of it. You get the goblin as far away from goblin influences as possible. Put them in like a place where put them in a place of like cities that will gesture around us with courts and stone and gold and glory, and then anyone can become a decent warrior. The goblins that sit in the forest and shit themselves have no excuse.
Golden glory.
It sounds like
Basically-
Calder is very in his cups at this point.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
he
yeah.
drank the dwarven moonshine.
Yeah, you
This is
guys
only
watch me
gonna
like
get worse.
unapologetically sweat, like singing like, "Ow, that hurts," but I'm here. But yeah, I'm carousing. I'm singing the praises of our group, singing the praises of the king, singing the praises of Echo's troop. Yeah, doing my thing.
So,
Like this is probably like Clarion's first time actually seeing Calder in his element. Like this is what he is like. This is what he does at court. This is
Not
what his
the first
job.
time he's seen Calder drunk, though.
No, not the first time you've seen Calder drunk, but this is the first time you've seen Calder like good at
Purposely
something.
being, like political and like smooth and stuff, and like at one
because
point,
you're so
Clarion's
used to
gonna
like
drunkily walk up to you and be like, "I didn't know you had it in you. I guess you weren't lying all those times."
yeah, it's like I lie about many things, but never about other people. I only ever tell lies about myself.
Charlotte's over in a corner being a wine snob.
there is actually
That's
surprisingly good wine here. It's, if Charlotte particularly enjoys elven stock, you're not going to find it there. But there are some surprisingly excellent vintages here from around Faerun.
It's delicious.
So the night passes. You have a place to sleep. Obviously, you wake up the next morning without a big problem, and you will begin, I imagine, to go out on your way to much fanfare. Like now, when you wake up in the morning, it's like, remember, there are still over 1,000 dwarves in this area, right? And now that they know that you're there, over the course of the night, more and more of them begin to arrive in the feast hall, until by the end it's packed. Like by the time you actually go to bed, you've met at least a couple of hundred dwarves. They are all very, very interested in your adventure, and they all know that you are going out looking for Durgadin's stash, and they all wish that they were as brave and as fearless as you.
Or is stupid.
Or that. But to dwarves, there's not a huge difference. The brave to the foolhardy is a dwarven tradition. So why don't we go ahead and take ourselves a nice little break? We're coming up on 8 o'clock, and 8 o'clock Pacific, that is. And when we come back from the break, we will go ahead and run our first encounter as you make your way towards the town of Blasingdale, and we will see what happens after that. Given how we're doing so very well, let's go ahead and come back. Let's make it a little bit of a longer break than usual. Let's go ahead and come back at 8. So it'll be 12, 13 minutes-ish. And I will also, by the way, before I go, I will be showcasing Olivia's artwork more during the break. And if you want,
artwork.
yes, and if you want to submit fan art of this session or of this campaign or of the previous campaign, please do so. The information will be up there so that you can send it to me. Friends, we will be back at 8 o'clock Pacific. I know we've got people all over different time zones, and we will get right into it. Thank you for watching so far. You're all amazing. All right, let's see. Hold on, I haven't actually changed it yet. Okay, there we go.